In this video presentation, we're going to be looking at using the Cisco Context Sensitive Help. Help means that it actually does provide some assistance. Sensitive means that the commands it offers will change with whatever context or with whatever you're basically trying to do. Now, the main character or the main syntax that we use with the context sensitive help is the question mark. And if we can use it in these following three ways, we can probably come up with just about any command or set of commands that we need to perform a particular function on a router. So if we type in the question mark at the router prompt, the help function gives you a list of all the commands that you can use from that particular prompt. Then if you type in a command, a space, and then a question mark, the Cisco IOS will try and give you the options that you can use with that command. And if you type in the first few letters of a command and a question mark, the iOS will give you a list of commands that actually start with those letters. Please note that there is no space between the letter and the question mark when you use it in that form. Now what we're going to do here is use the context help to help set the clock on the router, and then we'll use it to set a banner in the form of a message of the day or the MOTD. Now we know that the Cisco IOS is built using a hierarchy and that each level has a predefined set of commands. And what that means is that a person in the user mode, for example, would only see a few commands. A person in the privilege or the enable mode would see lots more commands. And if you drop down to the config T mode or the configuration level, we'll actually see a lot more commands just for that particular level of the hierarchy. Now if we didn't have a clue where to start on how to set the clock or the banner on a router, with just what we know now, we could get the job done by just going to the different prompts and typing in the question mark to get a list of all the available commands at those different levels. Then using the command with the question mark, we get the next piece of the syntax till finally the clock is set or the banner is built. So we're going to start by going into the exec mode. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to hit enter. That brings up the user prompt. Now I can type in the question mark at this level and we see what available commands I have here. Okay. Now I don't see anything in here that starts with C for clock. So I'm not going to be able to find what I want here. Now I can get out of this just by holding down the control key and hitting enter. And now I can just type in EN for enable. And that brings me up to the next level. This is the privileged mode. Here I can type in the question mark. And let's see what we have. I see that I have a clock option. And it says manage the system clock. Okay, let's go ahead and hit control enter. That brings me back to my privileged mode or my prompt that I need to be using at this level. And I'm going to type in clock space question mark. And that brings up the next part of the syntax. In this case here it is the set command. So I'm going to type in clock set space question mark, and that brings up the next part of the syntax. In this case it's hours, minutes, and seconds, and that's going to allow me to set the current time. The current time that I have is 11:34, and let's just type in 30, and I'm going to give it a space and another question mark. Now I can type in the day and the month. Today is the 16th, space, and it is the month of October. Now I can type this in either with 3 letters or I can type out the whole month. I'm going to go ahead and abbreviate with just the first 3 letters of the month. Space and a question mark. Now I get the next part of the syntax, which is the year. So I'm going to type in the year space question mark, and I know now that I'm out of syntax because I have this last command down here that's in the brackets that says CR. That stands for carriage return. When you see the carriage return, you're all done. That's it. Now if I hit enter, that just brings me back to the prompt. Now if I like to see what my clock is set at on the router, I'm just going to use a show command. So I'm going to type in show, and I'll abbreviate that because I can. I type in SH space, and I can type in the whole word clock or basically the first 3 letters of it. and that brings up the current time on this router. Okay, that set the clock. That was pretty easy. Now let's get into the actual banner, or the message of the day in this case. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to type in the question mark, and let's see what we have here for banner. I don't have anything. Now, if you would like to see the rest of the commands that are available at any particular level, all you have to do is just hit the space bar, and that brings up the next screen. If you want to see each individual command at that level, just hit enter, and it'll bring you up one command at a time. I'm going to go ahead and hit Control Enter. That's going to close that out. Now I'm going to go down to the next level, and I get there by typing in config T. That brings up the config prompt. Alright, now at this level I'm going to type in the question mark, and let's see what we have here for banner. And I see that under the B's I do have a banner, and it says define a logon or a login banner. That's fine. Let's Control Enter, bring me back to my prompt. Now I'm going to type in banner space question mark, and I have the different banners that I can actually bring up here. Now we want the message of the day, but I have the ability to make a line banner, an executive mode banner, an incoming banner, a login banner, and again the message of the day banner. So I'm going to type in banner MOTD space question mark. Now what we have to have here is the message with a delimiter at each end, the delimiting character, and I'm going to use the pound sign. Okay, so I'm going to type in pound sign, and now I'm just going to type in the message of the day. Now normally this would be a legal notice, such as a warning that you're about to enter a secure network, and that if you try to violate the security of this network, you'd be in violation of the law. But you can put anything up here you want. You can say, hello, welcome to my router, for instance. Let's go ahead and do that. Hello, welcome to my router. And I'm just going to go ahead and close that off with the other delimiting character. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit enter, and that brings me back to this level again at the prompt. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to Control Z out of here. So I Control Z, that takes me back to the last level, or the next level up. Now I can just hit enter, and you'll see that I'm back at the executive privileged mode. Now I'm going to go ahead and exit out of here, and when I hit return this time, there'll be a banner, and there it is. It says, hello, welcome to my router. And that's just about all there is to it, to using the context help. You can see how easy that is. Now there are more than 10,000 plus commands for the Cisco iOS, and if you just know how to use the context help with just the most useful of the commands, you'll be able to configure the router for just about any particular situation.